Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Smackdown Ring Report. Coming up, but here on the Smackdown Ring Report, we're gonna have the matches that right here. Coming up, LA Knight set to challenge Shinsuke Nakamura for the United States Championship. Can LA Knight get his championship back from Nakamura? He's been on a treacherous streak lately. We'll get to LA Knight coming up. Also, too, new WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton addressed the WWE Universe. What would Tiffany Stratton say after a week later? She cashed in her Money in the Bank briefcase over 9 Jack. We'll get to that. Plus, the Women's U.S. Championship is online. It's Chelsea Green set to defend her title against Michigan. We'll talk about that coming up as well. And plus, on Wrestling Hot Topic, we get this. This came out of nowhere. Mr. McMahon talking about cases closed. We don't know exactly what he's talking about, but we'll get to the bottom of it. And we'll get to it later on as the Pro Wrestling Show presents the Smackdown Ring Report. Starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host, as always, Kid Jix here. Glad you can join us here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing. All right, let's get to it. The Smackdown Ring Report here on the Pro Wrestling Show. And we kick things off with this. Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett, the formerly announced team of Monday Night Raw, now the new announced team for SmackDown. Barrett and Tessitore put old Mike Cole and Pat McAfee over them being on the new Raw team on Netflix. Well, Barrett and Tessitore will be the SmackDown team moving forward until some other further nonsense goes down. But we get to see that. Well, we kick things off with this. Paul Heyman came to the ring to put old Roman Reigns and talked about Roman Reigns winning back to Ula Fowler being the tribal chief. Paul Heyman also wanted to call out Cody Rhodes, and he wanted Cody Rhodes to know that Roman Reigns wants his championship back since he got the Ula Fowler. And Paul Heyman Reigns for Cody Rhodes that Roman Reigns will participate in the 30-man Royal Rumble match. Roman Reigns participated in the Royal Rumble match since 2020. So it's been a 5-year drought. Roman Reigns coming back into the Royal Rumble. It's been a 5-year drought. Everyone's been chasing him for the gold. Now he's going to be chasing for the gold. And we'll see that coming up in the 30-man Royal Rumble along with John Cena, who said this past Monday on Raw that he's going to enter the Royal Rumble match as well. So we got two prominent names, Roman Reigns and John Cena, that's going to be added to this 30-man Royal Rumble match. Cannot wait to see the Royal Rumble kicks off the road to WrestleMania, and it kicks off indeed in Indianapolis. So we know that Paul Heyman made the announcement that Roman Reigns will enter the Royal Rumble match. But speaking of Royal Rumbles, we had this. We had Paul Heyman being frightened by Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. He thought Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu gonna attack him again, and Cody Rhodes came out of nowhere and took down Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu after Cody Rhodes did the favor, and Tama Tonga came out there. Jimmy Uso tried to come out there to help even the odds to save Paul Heyman. Jimmy Uso did do so tonight by kicking Tama Tonga and making him pay, as well as Jacob Fatu. But Kevin Owens was lurking around. Cody Rhodes wanted a piece of Kevin Owens. Them two will meet at the Royal Rumble for the Undisputed Championship in a ladder match to claim who's the real world champion. Cody is the champion, but Kevin Owens been holding that championship belt hostage, the Wing Eagle belt that he had, that Cody was supposed to have for just a day, and it just did not go as planned. But we'll take you, like we said, we'll get to that a little bit later in the show. But Cody Rhodes setting the table and stuff and how that went down. But we know tonight Jimmy Uso will team up with the WWE champion Cody Rhodes to take on Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu later on in the show. So we'll get to see that coming up. Cody and Jimmy want to get their hands on Tamatonga and Jacob Fatu. So we'll see that coming up as well. Just tell you, Paul Heyman was a little bit frightened and scared. He looked like he just put shit on himself. Um, we saw that going down. Well, we get to this. One of the first U.S. championship matches. This one for the women's. We'll get to the men's later. But the women's U.S. championship match was on the line as there's a rematch from Saturday Night Main Event as Chelsea Green set to defend her U.S. title against Michigan. Chelsea Green, Michigan, taking it blow and blow right here to battle. These two women do drop Piper Niven watching as Chelsea Green choking out Michigan. Both women giving their outlet of prowess, going for a secondary championship, and also to Michigan, Piper Niven paying dividends right here by doing the move on her to help Chelsea Green win. Chelsea Green retain her women's U.S. championship by all means necessary, and she did that tonight. So Chelsea Green retains the championship in that order. So we'll see. All right, we move on to the next thing was for the men's U.S. championship. LA Knight set to go against Shinsuke Nakamura. There was a rematch from Survivor Series. We told you that the women's was a little bit physical and dominant. What about the men's U.S. championship match was physical and dominant as well? As LA Knight, you can show a picture of LA Knight right quick. LA Knight was attending to something. He took out the trash. He took out both you know who, Jacob Fatu and the whole entire bloodline. You saw right there. The whole entire bloodline went down and stuff. Well, LA Knight really didn't win tonight. LA Knight kind of getting payback, and the bloodline getting payback on LA Knight. It was a no contest, and this lead to the bloodline getting their revenge on them and leaving things as may on what went down. So I think it's just a no contest for the U.S. Championship as they went down. They attacked LA Knight and left him beaten in the bloody poke. But you can tell they're gonna have a rematch down the road and how that's gonna be. Also, too, the tag team champions, well, the former tag team champions, DIY won their match tonight. DIY won tonight over Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, pinning Austin Theory, Grayson Waller. We saw that tonight, as well as La Familia. They won their match tonight. La Familia getting the job done as well. So La Familia winning tonight. I think these two teams, La Familia and the Machine Guns, will be in action next week. They're going to be in a tag team match. I think this might lead to who's going to be number one contenders for the tag team championships against DIY. So we can see that being that possibility as well. Also, too, general manager, Tiffany Stratton had her celebrations. Tiffany Stratton, the new WWE Women's Champion. Tiffany Stratton came out there, and Tiffany Stratton trying to play core. Tiffany Stratton did the unthinkable by taking out Nia Jackson, tricking her. Tiffany Stratton came out there. Jax didn't see it coming, but Tiffany Stratton won tonight. Well, she didn't win, but the general manager decided that, hey, we're gonna have a fatal four-way between you women to determine the next number one contender for the women's championship. And the women's championship was that. Well, out there, Bianca Belair, Bayley, Naomi, and Nia Jax. Bayley emerged victorious tonight. Bayley gets the shot of a lifetime. Can Bayley regain the WWE Women's Championship over again? That's the possibility for Bayley, and Bayley did so tonight. And Bayley earns herself a championship match. She'll get that championship match next week. So we'll see if Bayley gets a shot at the WWE Women's Championship moving forward. So hey, Bailey get the shot at the women's title. This is going to be unique. Bailey got the shot by pinning Naomi, and I think this planting the seeds for Naomi to turn heel, or something's going to go down. So I'm going to keep a close eye on that. But we know Bailey will take on Tiffany Stratton next week on SmackDown. Also, too, um, what else did we talk about? Pretty Deadly was in action. Pretty Deadly took on La Familia, I meant to say, and Pretty Deadly look like they turning babyface or something. Their babyface team, and as you see right here, Pretty Deadly lost to La Familia. We told you that a little bit earlier. La Familia will get the shot. We'll go against DIY next week for a shot at who's be next in line for no one contendership for the tag team title. Well, we told you that coming up. Well, before we get that, Hulk Hogan, who's been in a similar controversy since Monday, ever since he got booed. I think Hulk Hogan's gonna be part of Saturday night's main event, but if they do bring him, he needs to be Hollywood Hulk Hogan due to the loud negative response he had got this past week. So Hulk Hogan was featured on a Saturday night's main event promo. I don't know why they did that, but hey, the Hulkster he thinks it's gonna be turning real red and blue. He got another thing coming. Hulk Hogan knows what's good for him and stuff. Well, we get to let's see. We get to the tag team matchup that was announced. WWE champion Cody Rhodes team up with Jimmy Uso to take on Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu looking like a savage and looking like what he did earlier. He wanted to get his hands on Paul Heyman and Tama Tonga too. Well, that wasn't the case. Jimmy Uso and them tried to take down. They took down LA Knight earlier, but due to the fact of what happened. Well, you see right here, Kevin Owens tried to make interference, tried to go after Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes went after Kevin Owens, leaving Jimmy alone in the ring with the Savages, those Savage Warriors and stuff, doing what they did. I'm surprised LA Knight didn't come out there and help them. But the Savages, Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu won their match tonight, and they won the tag team match, setting up the table for next week. Next week, we are expecting that next week that Solo Sokoa will return. And Solo Sokoa will what would Solo Sokola have to say next week when he returns on SmackDown with Solo's primary goal and mission. We'll see coming up. But before we end it, Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens came out of nowhere and they took the fight outside again. And Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens decided to fight until too very too much. Cody dived in, tried to spear Kevin Owens through a table, and leaving Kevin Owens through that table, leaving that they'll put their bodies on the line for that. But we know at Royal Rumble, that's going to be the match that we're going to see coming up. All right, that ends the SmackDown ring report. Let's move over to Wrestling Hot Topics. On Wrestling Hot Topics, we talk about this. Mr. Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon been a center of controversy lately ever since he stepped down last year from his position as executive. Well, Vince McMahon sent something on Twitter today talking about the case is closed. Today ends a nearly 3-year investigation by a different government agency. There have been a great deal of speculation about what exactly the government was investigating and what the outcome would be. As today's resolution shows, much of the speculation was misguided and misled. In the end, there was never anything more to this minor account error with regards to some personal payments that I made several years ago while I was CEO of WWE. I'm thrilled that I can now put this behind me. We don't know what Vince McMahon is talking about. I'm gonna talk about the hush money payments and stuff that he must be talking about, or the fact that the Janelle Grant lawsuit is still ongoing. I don't expect that case to move forward because of Vince's connections to Trump. So Vince might get away scot free once again. So you see that from Vince McMahon. Hey, let's see. Speaking of that, Ric Flair, WWE's considering bringing Ric Flair back to the Royal Rumble. They won't pass winners. Ric Flair won the Royal Rumble in 1992. In my opinion, the greatest Royal Rumble of all time. The 92 Royal Rumble was had like an all star. Had the Macho Man, Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, um, you name it. Everybody was in that Royal Rumble. Ted DiBiase, you name it. Ric Flair won the champion, won the gold, won the Royal Rumble along with the WWE Championship in that match when the WWE title was vacant. And it was the greatest Royal Rumble. I would suggest anybody on YouTube or anywhere on the Peacock, watch that Royal Rumble and you'll learn something from that Ric Flair Royal Rumble and how good it was and how what Piper was in it too, Riley Piper. So everybody was in that Royal Rumble and did really impressive. I'll say that. Also, too, Ric Flair, no stranger to this man, Abdullah the Butcher. Abdullah the Butcher turned 84 years old. Many of you might know Abdullah was hardcore before hardcore was cool. Abdullah the Butcher spent his time in territories, especially in world class and WCW, and he in Japan, bringing hardcore elements like barbed wire, stuff like that. He had notable feuds with Bruiser Brody and their feuds and stuff. Dusty Rhodes, you name it, Abdullah the Butcher was that. And I remember Abdullah from WCW. I don't barely recall, but Abdullah got electrocuted one time and he went crazy. But speaking of that, we told you earlier tonight the Royal Rumble right here. Roman Reigns, John Cena are in the fray. These two former world champions want to be back to glory again, but they have to go through the Royal Rumble, the third man Royal Rumble, and outlast 29 other men to do so. Like I said, the rules of the Royal Rumble is you eliminate your opponent over the top rope. Both feet must hit the floor in order to be eliminated. The last man standing gets a first class ticket to WrestleMania. So who wants to go to WrestleMania? That's the question. Who wants it bad? And we will see that coming up. Don't forget next week on SmackDown, Solo Sikoa return. What will be the fallout for Solo? Not with the Ula Fala. The Roman Reigns had the Ula Fala in his position. What does that lead? We will have to wait and find out on SmackDown. I think that's going to do it here on the Pro Wrestling Show presents the SmackDown Ring Report. So we're going to leave you with this. We're going to leave you with WWE Champion Cody Rhodes taking down his challenger, Kevin Owens, who he'll meet at the Royal Rumble in 3 weeks for the title in a ladder match. I've been your host, Kendrick Dick, saying so long. Thanks for watching the Pro Wrestling Show. Y'all have a great weekend.